geographical boundaries. We believe in cultivating curiosity and transformation that is rooted in profound love. The COVID-19 pandemic has irrevocably shaped how connections are formed in congregations across the United States and the world. The Church of the Larger Fellowship is committed to being a resource within Unitarian Universalism and beyond. From worship to covenant groups, from classes to pastoral care, and from our monthly magazine Quest to our online community hub and our letter writing ministry, we have found ways to build connection and community even through the screen. We have been a model for ministry on the margins, providing services for isolated Unitarian Universalists, becoming a spiritual lifeline for our members in prison. The CLF supports the ministries of those who hold target identities: Blue, Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism; Trust, Transgender Religious UU Professionals Together; and Drum, Diverse Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries, just to name a few. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed, even from a distance. Unitarian Universalists have faced many challenges in these times, and we continue to persevere and fight for justice and equity for all people, especially during moments of crisis. We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Church of the Larger Fellowship. We are so excited to bring you an all-new episode of The VUU. The VUU is a weekly We are so excited to bring you an all-new episode of The VUU. The VUU is a weekly Unitarian Universalist talk show discussing important faith-based topics from an anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and multicultural perspective. Every Thursday for the past 7 years, we have welcomed guests from every corner of the world. Our guests are writers, scholars, activists, and religious thought leaders who are shaping Unitarian Universalism and society for the 21st century and beyond. I hope today's show inspires you. Hope it builds your faith. Hope it gives you perspective to see the power of Unitarian Universalism at work in your life. Enjoy the message.
Greetings, beloved. Welcome to another episode of the Voices of Unitarian Universalism, which we like to call the VUU and sometimes the VUU. It is good to be with you. I'm the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino, 1/3 of the lead ministry team at your Church of the Larger Fellowship. And today we have a host special going on. So it's like VUU potluck. Like, you never know what you're going to get, but it's going to be something tasty, we promise you. There's going to be something that's going to nourish you in some way for the week to come. I am joining you today from beautiful Peekskill, New York, the land of the Kitchewan and Wappinger peoples in the Hudson Valley, just a little bit north of New York City. It is a rainy, gray fall day, and all of the fronts that have come through this week have set off all of my arthritis. So I'm feeling ouchy today, but like mentally, I'm mostly here. So it's good to be with you. Aisha Hauser, how are you?
Hi, I'm Aisha Hauser, and I am in the land of the Coast Salish people, also known as Seattle, Washington. It is cold. I have my fake fireplace on because I don't want to turn the heat up anymore because it is March, for heaven's sake. How am I feeling with all the fuckery? I don't know. DC, how are you? I'm second third, I should say, of the lead ministry team, and it looks like our third is coming on now. But in the meantime, hi DC, where are you? How are you?
Hi, I am Reverend DC Fortune, and I am coming to you from central Pennsylvania, the land of the Susquehannock people. And I am looking out my window onto Penn's Creek because everything in this state was named after the colonizer William Penn. But it is it's gray. It's a bright gray. It's like the sun has ambition, but not exactly the muscle to break through.
Oh, I love that.
But maybe the difference. Like there's a dark gray like November, and then there's a bright gray like the sun's trying to do its thing, and the crocuses are the snowdrops are actually sort of wilted and done. Spring is coming to central Pennsylvania eventually. So
Wow.
Yes. And we seem to be on again, off again with Christina. What? Chris, are you with us?
Everyone send collective prayers to the camera deity to have Chris's camera work. I think that
internet gods.
The gods, goddesses, they, them, deities. Seattle has that bright gray. It's never really that dark in Seattle. Even when it's rainy for weeks and weeks on end, it's that bright gray. It's rarely dark gray. And anyway, in defense of gray, I don't know.
Gray can be lovely. It's just when it's gray for like a month.
It gets old after week 6.
Bright gray, I have to say, is the perfect atmosphere for taking pictures of the crocuses blooming in my garden. Because there's not so much sun to make shadow, but it's bright enough to make the colors vibrant. So I've been taking pictures. For those of you who don't know me out there in VUU land, when the first crocuses of the year bloom, that is my personal new year. I figure the new year can happen any time of the year, right? So our Jewish siblings, the new year is Rosh Hashanah, which is usually September, October. For our Chinese siblings, the new year is the Lunar New Year in February. For our Persian siblings, the New Year is Nowruz at the vernal equinox. So the new year can be any time, right? January 1st is a very, very random time to stick that New Year celebration. And so my personal New Year is when the first crocuses bloom in my south facing front yard. And this year was on the early side of that. So we get extra. And Chris is here. We have bullshit about crocuses and here. How are you doing, Chris?
You all have just vamped. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yay! Okay. So apparently our platform did not like Firefox. So I came back in Chrome, and seems like everything is happy campers away. I'm Christina Rivera. She, pronouns. I'm coming to you from my ancestral lands of the Tino people on the land of Borinquen, also known as Puerto Rico, where it is. It's really beautiful weather as usual, per usual, but it is overcast. So it's bright, but just kind of like hazy. And it's lovely. What can I say? I see Aisha all wrapped up and everything, and I'm like, oh dear.
It is not warm in Seattle this morning. In fact, the last few mornings we've had frost, and I actually had to put tape on my stairs because the day after Thanksgiving I flew onto the small of my back and was sore for weeks, and I still have a little remnants of a goose egg on my back still. So I immediately got tape, and it wasn't for the first time my dog's fault, because I have a horse dog. Gracie's huge, and usually I fall because she's pulling me, but I felt for her because she was didn't know what to do, because she knew I was hurt, and she was like, and I'm like, no, it's not your fault. So walking down the stairs, I'm like gripping and I have the tape. So we've had This is a long way of saying we've had a lot of frost every day. So this morning it's been cold, and I'm stubborn and don't want to turn up the heat in fucking March. So on my fake
I too noticed that I've started using a lot of the accessibility devices like that, more on stairs and steps and handrails, and just looking more in those sections of the pharmacy or the grocery store or the Walmart or wherever I'm at, and just looking at the things that are available and how could they make my life a little bit more easier.
Amen to that. I wanted to lift up, as Michael started this morning with, this is a potluck show today, but I posted on Instagram, and Lucretia, who is behind our chalice and our producer, I will send you the link. I posted a conversation between two attorneys, elders, older people who, because there's a lot of direct action, especially in support of the genocide, in support of trans people. I mean, there's a lot of direct actions happening because we are trying not to be a full fascist state. Can we please try not to? And so these attorneys are saying, don't talk to the fucking cops. And they're like, they're so, first of all, delightful and funny, but their message is quite sound. And I've seen it from I'm on TikTok also, other attorneys, that if you get arrested, even if they say, how's your day? Don't fucking talk to the cops. So don't answer, don't say anything, because they will use whatever you say against you. So do not talk to the fucking cops. So why? Because I know there's a lot of direct action in DC weekly. And I think tonight, because is tonight the State of the Union?
Yes.
Today's Thursday, right?
What fucking day is it?
Yes.
What is time?
Yes, today is the State of the Union.
Yeah. So just wanted to throw that out there.
It's true, and make sure you're out there, you're supported, and you're writing down on your arms your local legal aid phone numbers, so that when you get your one call, you know who to call.
Black Sharpie markers are your friend, beloveds. To write on your arms in ways that sweat won't take it off, and
exactly. All those things.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
So Union Roundup. What's worth rounding up? What's happening?
So I know that our beloved on the UUA and UUSC staffs both had in-person sort of retreat time this past week. They were all in Boston together. Yeah, they call it homecoming at the UUA. But like so many people that I know and love were part of that, and were just energized by getting to be in the same place as their coworkers. I told someone the story recently of the CLF staff being in the same place at the same time for the first time in our lead ministry tenure, which happened at GA in 2022 after we had been on the job for 2 years. And it was the first time we'd been in physical proximity to many people that we work with. And so I imagine that people who are new on the UUA staff and the USC staff were feeling that, just that joy of being in physical proximity. It's nice that we can still have some of that, even if we don't need it.
I talked to some of those staff, and they were talking about there's been so much staff change, personnel change, people in new positions at the UUA, that they felt like it was really great just for, I don't know, I guess embodying those changes. You hear about the staff change and people have different responsibilities, but just to see those different people in their different leadership roles was really helpful.
And DC and I know are preparing for the next meeting of the Ministerial Fellowship Committee, which is the committee, for those of you out there who don't know jargon, that credentials ministers in fellowship with the UUA. And DC and I both have the joy of sitting on that committee.
Yes.
And we get to welcome 2 new staff people that are working with us, which is pretty exciting. Cecilia Kingman is the new
that's right.
Assistant Director of Ministries and Faith Development. And she will be the Executive Secretary for the MFC. And I've already got to be in a meeting with her because she's comes to the MFC exec meetings. And Derek Jackson has just been named the new Ministerial Credentialing Director.
Oh, wow.
So he's leaving the co-executive director position at the UU Ministers Association, and he will be in charge of ministerial credentialing. And so I'll get to work closely with him as we re-envision what ministerial credentialing looks like. I'm super excited because I worked closely with Derek 20 years ago. And when he was the moderator of the Continental UU Young Adult Network, and I was the director of the Young Adult and Campus Ministry Office. So it'll be a joy to work together with him again.
And Derek is so welcoming and kind and loving and the perfect person for that position, truly.
Absolutely.
To like be the credentialing doula. He's so loving and sweet. And Cecilia, because our world is this big, lives 6 miles from me. So I get to hang out with her. Yeah, she's amazeballs. So very exciting. And yay I yay UUA.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Yeah, I have a question for everyone is, it's a shit show out there. And I know we've talked about that. And, so it feels like I'm torn between, it's hard for me not, like I stayed off Facebook for only a few days. It was very sweet, by the way. Folks reached out to me. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Michael, DC. Folks reached out, and I still couldn't not doom scroll. Like, it's so hard. Like, I'd make sure Bassan is still alive in Gaza, and Montez got out and got seen by the doctor. And these are young, my children's ages, journalists.
Yes,
who've been reporting on the 24, 25, 20, I think Bassan's 22 or 23. And I'm wanting to still remember what we're fighting for and not give in to despair. And it's so fucking hard. It's so fucking hard. So.
And to that end, let me put in a plug for Finding Our Way Home. So Finding Our Way Home is the annual retreat for religious professionals of color. Now, actually, we've changed it. It's BIPOC religious professionals, Black, Indigenous people of color religious professionals annual retreat. And if you can hear my voice and you have a staff member who is going to Finding Our Way Home, please, 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 please find a way to support them in that. It's next month. We're about a month out. We had our pre-site meeting to make sure that, the site is accessible and is going to meet, needs for people. But we can only do this with congregational support. The funds for Finding Our Way Home come from people doing their what is our annual contribution name?
The annual program fund?
Yes.
Annual program fund. Thank you. Annual program fund and congregations making sure that there is coverage for those staff members to be able to go and not come back to, a double pile of work on their desk.
Right.
So, please make sure that you're supporting your staff members, BIPOC staff members, and going to Finding Our Way Home, both financially, hit them up with some coffee cards or some travel cards so that they can, when they're in transit, get their caffeine boost or their tea or their beverage of choice. Make sure that there's coverage for them so that they don't come back to mountains of work. that is part of what we need to be able to be resilient in this world, talking about what Aisha's talking about. Like, how do we keep going? No, Michael.
And protect that time for them.
Yes.
Right? Don't say, oh, well, Chris is at Finding Our Way Home, but she can still answer emails.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. No, she can't. No, she can't.
No, she is an important spiritual retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so, does it make a little more work for those of us who are not going to be there? Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And
So
is that absolutely worth it? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
And if you want to support a religious professional of color going to Finding Our Way Home, we have the VUU Religious Professionals Survive and Thrive Fund. We'll put the link in the chat. All of those funds go directly to folks that are at Finding Our Way Home or throughout the year. Sometimes we have folks who are just, they have unexpected expenses or they're between jobs or whatever. They contact us and we try and help them out with support. So that is a great way to support religious professionals of color in Unitarian Universalism.
So I'm not going this year. So I need a plan B.
Yes, we need a plan B.
Part of it is I'm trying. Part of it is my dog. It's very expensive to board her, but I do it when I need to. But also, I have found that traveling a lot has been taking a different toll for me. And anyway, there's a lot of reasons why I'm not going. I love Finding Our Way Home, and I was going to actually ask, well, what if you have religious professionals of color and especially folks who are part of the LGBTQ community? What if you gave like 2 or 3 days of a retreat where folks can get paid time off, like 2 or 3 days where they cannot have to check email, where yes, am I advocating for myself right now? And the
Yes.
Christians aren't going. I sure am.
For sure.
But I'm like, then I could, read, or I know that last year I joined online. There's no online component this year because of where y'all are going to be. So that wasn't an option, unfortunately, because I absolutely would have done that. But, yeah, I think giving folks grace yeah.
Well, and I think Aisha, that Chris and I will figure out how to give you that time. But we're giving that idea. Here's your potluck nourishment to all of you out there who work with folks, whether they're going to Finding Our Way Home or not, who deserve a couple days of spiritual renewal. And we can make that happen. We can make that happen. Right? There is not a scarcity of resources to make that happen. So if you work with someone who needs that, you get to make that happen out there in VUU land.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It occurs to me, and I've been hearing a lot about this, and Nicole Thibodeau posted something in the chat about there's a lot of programs on hope in the last month. Can we maybe talk a little bit about crisis fatigue?
Oof.
Right?
Please.
Right? Because, man, I'm a news junkie, right? I was a reporter for a long, long time, and I find myself unable to watch the news. Right? Like that's as central to my life as like drinking coffee. Right? I mean, it's just it's how I understand which way is up in the world, right? I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Just can't do it anymore. Just can't see any more stories about dead trans kids. Just can't see any more stories about genocide. Just can't see any more stories about people justifying violence against trans kids or justifying genocide. I just can't see it anymore. I just can't. And yes, I live in a place of privilege where I can turn it off. But on the other hand, there's a part of me that feels bad for turning it off, because that is a huge privilege that I can. On the other hand, if I keep it on, I'm going to be fucking useless to do anything. Right? And I know I'm not the only one. And for those of us who are religious leaders, how then do we offer hope and inspiration to our people when we are completely swamped with crisis fatigue? So if y'all could answer that question, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's I think what I heard, I've been following some folks who talk about brain science, and how information has evolved. Our brains haven't caught up with the enormity of it, and so we're not designed to get this much. I think either positive or negative, but especially negative, like scary assault constantly on our psyche. Like our brains haven't evolved to keep up with that. So when we're in a constant state of activation, we get fatigued, we get sick, it has impact on our whole selves, right? So I think a few weeks ago, there was a back and forth on TikTok where a white creator said, "Turn off the news," and this was shortly after the genocide began. And many other creators, especially Black and brown creators, very rightfully were like, "Oh, gee, so you just want to turn off the genocide and pretend it's not happening?" And it's not even about a right or wrong. It's about capacity and being realistic about, as human beings, how much we could genuinely handle. We know there is a genocide happening. We know, we need to do, sorry. I need to be on a different device because my laptop hates, doesn't like to work. And so we know that very, very bad things are happening right now that are going to impact humanity. And at the same time, taking the time to calm our nervous system is super invaluable. It's valuable, especially for those of us who do feel it in our bodies when we read about the horrors that are going on, when yet another non-binary or trans youth is targeted and loses their life because of a hateful society. So I think one thing I'll say, it's not necessarily hope, but it's more one of the things that the more I read about trauma and the impact in our bodies and our brain, I suggest, I want to recommend a book called The Myth of Normal. I'm listening to it right now by Gabor Mate and his son, Daniel Mate. And Gabor Mate was an infant during the Holocaust, and he is a practicing Jewish man and his son Daniel, they're a Jewish family, they're practicing, and they are very much against the genocide. And they talk about unhealed trauma of a whole nation, generational trauma. So it's a long way of saying, it's maybe not offering hope, but it's saying that there is a lot of value in doing things that help calm your nervous system, because to help us be resourced for when we do, whatever action we decide to take to continue the fight for liberation. That's my long-winded answer.
Yeah, Nicole of the VUU, member of CLF, in the chat has added a few things about this, and asks, a gathering for crisis fatigue seems like it would be like a kind of vigil, no? And I thought it really would be worship. So I want to say that one of the ways that we care for ourselves and care for our spirits is to find the communities that hold us in that time, to lean into the places and the people who hold us, who bear sacred witness to what's going on in our lives, to who pray with us and pray for us and pray for our world together with us, who give us nuggets of inspiration and things to hold on to during the week, when those touchstones. And I mean, that's a lot of how I approach worship. Yes, sometimes worship has to kick your ass. Sometimes it has to kick your ass. And so much of like the kicking your ass is in a container of, and we are holding you. We are holding you in love, and we are holding you in prayer, so that we can all have our asses kicked together, so that we can all face what's going on in the world together, that we can all move together toward collective liberation. So that's, I could give you the whole sermon that I'm about to record for Sunday. But to me, it doesn't have to be a special vigil. Your worship, and I know AJ Van Tyne, who's also in the chat and who has said some things, is went to at least 4 worship services on Sunday, because I'm friends with him on Facebook, and I saw him post that sometimes you need 4 worship services on Sunday. Sometimes it's not just one. Sometimes you need to like time zone hop on Zoom to the places that hold you, and end your day on Sunday with CLF in the evening. Sometimes you just need more. Sometimes you need more spiritual practice. Sometimes you need to just sit. Sometimes you need to just pray. And we, religious leaders, can make space for people to do that.
We need to do it ourselves.
Thus endeth my rant. So.
Love it.
That reminds me, Michael, of when I was preparing to see the MFC myself, right? And I was I was a candidate, and I was freaked out and stressed out, and I had all these friends who were way more organized than me, and they were all doing like these flashcards and stuff, and I was just like, no, I can't do that. But I was losing my mind, and a friend of mine said that the best advice that they got was 2 or 3 weeks before your appointment, put down all your study stuff and double up on your spiritual practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't thought of that in a while. And that seems really important right now. Right? I've been doing all this stuff, but have I been making art? Actually, no. And does that feed? And that feeds your soul. Absolutely. Right. But I've been too busy. Like somebody's told the Buddha, was it Gandhi? Somebody told Gandhi, I'm too busy to meditate. And he's like, oh, I meditate every day for an hour. On days when I'm extra busy, I meditate for 2. Right. So that's a good reminder. I need to suck up and go into my art space, however imperfect and it looks like Martha Stewart blew up in there. But go in there.
It's well lighted though.
No, that's the shop. That's the shop. The shop has lumens to that can guide the space shuttle home. But my shop, my craft area upstairs is just, this pile of stuff that hasn't ever been organized in any way, shape, or form. And like, there's stuff I could do. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be in a perfect space. And at this point, that I need to understand that my space is not ever going to be perfect. And I can probably go spend some time this afternoon doing funky ass things with resin and fiber and make some stuff for knife handles. That would be cool. So, yeah. Double up on spiritual practice.
Yeah, that was the best advice I got before I went to the MFC too. And I still give that advice. It's like, no, you need to be spiritually grounded and not remember the year that the Edict of Torda was issued. Because nobody gives a fuck.
Marion gives a fuck about the Edict of Torda. Marion, I'm losing her last name. Marion.
Marion Bell, who is
my God, she knows more about the Edict of Torda than anybody I know, and like she gives a fuck about when the Edict of Torda was, and she can tell you all about it. But I think she might be the only one in our association. But yeah, gee whiz.
Because oppressive systems count on us to be tired, count on us to give up. And I think where the current powers that be, the current United States administration, who are fucking funding this genocide, they vastly and grossly underestimated the anger of the populace. And they thought this was going to be they're going to march and it's going to go away. Just side note, 100,000 people in Michigan, the state with the largest concentration of Arabs in this country, voted uncommitted instead of Joe Biden. 100,000 took the time to vote and voted uncommitted. So wake the fuck up, current system and people in power. Are you kidding me? Which is totally not about hope. But I'm just saying the reason why, go with me on a journey, stay with me. The reason why we need to double on our spiritual practice, connect with our people, go for walks or sit outside when it's sunny out, just whatever you need to do, listen to music you love. Beyonce's new country song is trying to learn that dance. It is not working. However, I'm trying, because in order to keep fighting for liberation, because the powers that be are counting on us to be tired, are counting on us to be fatigued, are counting on us to forget what we're fucking fighting for. Joy is an act of resistance.
Amen.
It's true.
And not just counting on us, they're actively creating obstacles in our way in order to make that happen. Right. So, if you feel like you're tired, you are. You are tired. It's not, it's not that you're not doing enough. It's that there are systems in place to make you tired, to make you want to, feel like you're not enough, and you are.
The overwhelm is not a byproduct of the chaos. It is a tactic.
That's right.
Of the chaos.
That's right.
The overwhelm is not sort of the thing that also happens in this situation. It is one of the tools of the situation.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm this fried and I've had 2 weeks off. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Well. And there's Hammy. There's Hammy's butt.
Hi, Hammy's butt. Oh, there's a face.
Oh, there's a face.
That is Octavius Brooks Frothingham, who is, a sweet orange boy, which means he's not that smart, but he's very sweet, huh, Boo? Huh? Right? Oh, that's not a good idea to balance.
That's right.
There. There's Hammy's butt again.
You can just knock some things over and then balance much more easily.
Yes. Yeah. Orange boys, not so bright. Very sweet, but yeah. He's like the Saint Bernard of cats, right? He's big and he drools when he's happy, and he sheds everywhere. And if the food bowl rattles, he is on it.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So, but oh my heavens, thank you, friends. I have needed that reminder.
So and so if you do need, like, speaking of cats, and if you do need a moment of just fun and just chuckles, and you're on social media and you're doom scrolling and you need something fun, I highly recommend the Temperamental Chuckle Fuck and Friends Facebook page. It started out as this really wonderful story of this lesbian couple who got a Vitamix, and their
I
cats
remember that.
sat on top of the Vitamix for months or several weeks and wouldn't let them open the Vitamix. Right. And then Vitamix got involved in it.
Sent them an empty
and
box.
Sent them empty boxes, Vitamix boxes, to try and get them off of the box. And they labeled like the one true box, and then the boxes that were trying to boxes. And the cats knew that the other ones were the decoys, and it's hysterical. And since then they just follow their lesbian couple cats exploits. It's truly just one of the they don't allow any kind of ridiculous shit. They call people out when when it's needed, and some days it's just the place I go to just give me life.
That's hysterical.
Right. That's like Frank the Christmas Gargoyle. Really Christmas Gargoyle. You remember Frank the Christmas Gargoyle?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes.
Frank. I'm gonna have to write all these down.
Frank the Christmas Gargoyle was a suburban woman who had a gargoyle on her front steps, and some Karen in her neighborhood left a note on her door saying, Halloween's over, get rid of your stupid gargoyle. And she's like, fuck that. She put a Santa hat on him. And there was this like note back and forthing about, you think you're funny, I know the mayor, blah, 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 blah. And she ended up with millions of followers, who then started sending her like clothes to put on the frickin' stone gargoyle. And she's like, okay, clearly you people need something to do. Here's a GoFundMe for an animal shelter.
Oh,
and what was it? 24 hours and $300,000 later.
Yep.
And she was a vet, and she had been exposed to COVID, so she was stuck home for 2 weeks with nothing to do but play hell with Karen and her nasty notes and decorate her gargoyle. Oh my God. Funniest thing ever.
This country. Go ahead, Michael.
No, go ahead, Aisha.
No. I was gonna go down on help.
I just want to say, like, find the fun.
Yes.
Like, you said, Aisha, joy is an act of resistance. Like, it is okay. It is okay. We here at The VUU, your VUU hosts extraordinaire, the lead ministry team of the Church of the Larger Fellowship and the Reverend D.C. Fortune, are giving you permission to find something that makes you feel good. Yes. Find something that makes you laugh. Yes. Find something that just nourishes that part of your soul that needs to chuckle. Even though the world is on fire.
That's right.
And especially because the world is on fire.
Yes.
We need another humor show.
Yes.
Remember, I remember when
Amy Petrie Shaw.
Yes.
Her show.
Right. And the Dippy books, right? The Dippy stories. The stories of Dippy Cats. And you know when that happened? That happened the November of 2016.
Yep.
Right.
When times are darkest, that's when we need the levity. And it feels like we're in that time again.
Well,
and
go ahead.
No, go.
No, you go.
Oh, Jesus.
You go, Michael, Tino.
Christina, why don't you say something? Let them fight over
it. You hang up first. No, you hang up first.
Y'all are hysterical.
We were all sitting going, what the fuck are we going to do with this the results of this election.
Oh yeah.
And what the fuck we did was send cookie jars to Amy Petrie Shaw, and howl
Ugly cookie
as
jars.
she wrote about them.
Ugly
And
cookie
that
jars.
was the best $10 I ever spent in my life. Aisha?
Oh my God.
Yep.
Yes, real quick, AJ Van Tyne said UU Hysterical Society and the VUU crossover. We will make that happen.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Yes.
What I
gosh,
love
yes.
about this country, and there are, even though I as James Baldwin said, I love the United States, therefore I will criticize it. Not a direct quote, but somewhere along those lines. But the thing about this country is how fucking ornery we are. Like, I love that this woman got a ridiculous note from her neighbor and tripled down. And that is what we like. We have fascism like right now, and we are in danger of full fascism. But the thing that this world has not quite seen U.S. fascism, like, it sucks in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways we're going to give a big fuck you to the government. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, it's not that it's not going to be shitty and awful. And we have organizers that, like, we know how to disrupt and those of us who want liberation in the most fucking creative ways. Like, somebody on TikTok posted, because we're boycotting Starbucks because free Palestine, they pretended that their car broke down in the Starbucks drive-thru for like an hour, and then they waited for the tow truck to come, and then they're like, oh, and then it just started. Like, damn. Like, so we just are a creative. Those on the left, what I love about those who want liberation is how our orneriness is super creative, and and it's also in your face, shutting down highways. Because we want to shut down a genocide. Like, what is it going to take for people to fucking listen? So so I think the other thing I want to bring up, speaking of supporting what we love, because animal lovers, yay, we love our pets here, but also we love religious education and faith development, and we are kicking off a fundraiser this month, the Church of Larger Fellowship. And if every single person who followed the four of us gave $10, $100, we would exceed our goal and support the amazing programming. We have offered classes on, it was Chris's idea to do UU sci-fi, Star Trek, Star Wars, Octavia Butler. Michael did a program on centering our, Michael, why am I forgetting the programs that oh my God, forgive me. Michael has offered great programs. So please support us. So we will be on our social media. We will be sharing our links. We just kicked it off a couple days ago. So we come to you with our creativity and our excitement and our love for life, along with, working with you all to bring liberation to the world. And we need your support because, unfortunately, we haven't yet gotten rid of capitalism, but we're working on it. It's on our to-do list. So until we are no longer a capitalist society and we take care of each other because money is made up, we do need it. So give what you can, and know that we have love in our hearts for all of you. Okay.
And you can find that online at clfuuu.org/fund-faith-dev, DEV. Fund faith for funding faith development. When we put together a class, it takes time to write a curriculum. It takes time to update curricula. It takes time to decide how we're going to teach things. And then it takes time to actually teach them. And we do this for all of our members and friends. Our classes, our free world classes, are open to anyone who wants to register for them. Our classes for our incarcerated members are open to anyone who's one of our incarcerated members. And we did the math, and it turns out it costs about $100 per person per class to offer faith development classes. And we would like to make them free. I mean, they're free for our incarcerated members, but we would like to make them free for everyone. And so we offer them at a sliding scale, and our sliding scale starts at 0. So if your ability, your financial means should not dictate your access to faith development. to top-notch faith development. So so someone's got to pay the $100. And I love the idea that everyone who follows all three of us should chip in, because I've got like 3,000 friends on Facebook.
Yep.
And if like our goal for this thing is $10,000. So if my 3,000 friends on Facebook all put in $3, we'd be there. $3.33, right?
Right.
We'd be there.
You can give 5. It's okay.
Well, our hard goal is 10,000. Our soft goal is 25. And what if we go up to 50? Let's raise as much money as we possibly can. That would be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
How amazing we are.
Right.
We're so amazing we come up with classes that Aisha doesn't remember.
Oh!
Oh my God. I didn't even listen.
If you think I'm gonna give you shit about that till we die,
Oh yes.
you are right.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
I deserve it. I could take
yeah.
it. Listen, I could dish it out. I could take it. I deserve it. I deserve it.
It's all good. It's all good. And we're always trying to come up with interesting ideas, creative ways
If you
to talk about collective liberation
and Article 2. You're doing a whole program on Article 2. Reverend Dr. Michael Tino will be leading that, not me.
I am, because I think it's important that we understand the proposed changes to Article 2 in the context of Unitarian Universalist history, in the context of a Unitarian Universalist theology that makes ours a living tradition,
right?
That adapts and changes to meet the times, and that we have a little bit of space to process the grief over words that we have come to love for 40 years and that might still be hanging on our walls, and then allow us to move forward from that. So we're doing classes on that, and anybody is welcome to sign up for Love at the Center. I'm doing it 5 times, I think, at different times of the day, at different times of the week,
and it's the same class 5 times. So
it's the same class 5 times.
Show up to great.
Okay.
right.
Okay. Another piece of joy. Can we talk
Please.
about Jet Pig?
Oh
The
my
jet
God,
pig?
yes.
The Jet Pig movement?
Yes.
Aisha's looking puzzled, so you're gonna have to explain it.
No, because I it's the justice, equity,
Transformation.
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 Pluralism.
That's why we
Interdependence
have it.
and generosity.
Interdependence and generosity. No.
Generosity.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We like totally need to have a bunch of
yeah.
religious educators
Yes.
on to talk about the Jet Pig thing.
And they've made pigs with jetpacks. These are all over the Laredo page. People have made their own.
And they have their own Instagram accounts. The Jet Pig in Wyoming has like 70 followers on Instagram.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
Right?
And
like I don't, like, of course I'm technically on I don't have 70, I'll tell you that. Ain't no 70 people watching what I do. But oh my God, my GRE was just like, yep, we need a Jet Pig. I'm like, what the hell's a Jet Pig? Okay, we need a Jet Pig. Sure thing. So yeah.
And they have jetpacks that are fueled by love.
Yes.
That's right.
It's
Yes.
the cutest thing ever.
Yes.
somebody needs to make us a jet pig. I want a jet pig. So whoever is listening to this who feels moved to send me a jet pig, I will. I along with my kafia, I will have it on my shoulder during the VUU. So I'm putting that out there, and I think that would be very cool.
Elizabeth Mount was one of the ones that really threw it to the forefront.
Oh, excellent.
And
Yes.
it took off from there. And when Sophia
Jesse McKinnon
Betancourt came to visit my congregation last month, it was amazing, by the way. And she helped introduce our Joseph L. Jet Pig. Joseph, because we're in Joseph Priestley's town.
That's
L
right.
he's fueled by love. So Joseph L. Jet Pig, and he has all these little color coordinated, like little decals on the back, and for all of the different colors of all of the different petals on the flowers with all of the things. Oh my God, Sophia thought it was the greatest thing. I have to confess, my people were kind of like, what now? What? But yeah, like that's just a really fun thing that's happening in our movement, that we can totally, we maybe need to do a series of happy things.
And Lori Stone says at Cedar Lane they have Jackson the jet pig. Which is and every UU kid who has a jet pig is going to be able to tell you justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity by the end of this. Which is really, which given that we had to like change all the language of the 7 principles to get them to be memorable, says a lot. That all we need to do is put a pig. All we need to do is put a pig on this one.
Right, a color coordinated, appropriately accessorized pig.
That's right. With aviator goggles.
Yes.
They're adorable.
It's just
my God. Yes.
I have to admit, I was on the fence about Jet Pig when Jet Pig first came out because of the Rainbow Chalice. Like the Rainbow Chalice was such a touchstone, and I was like, I don't know, kids are going to go to school and tell them that their faith is about a pig, and and I'm not so sure about that. And then the jet pigs started happening, and I was like, well, I mean, it's too adorable. How can we? Yes. Yeah. So I'm fully on board with Team Jet Pig.
Yes. And we post pictures of our jet pig, like at the chalice, at worship, and doing stuff with RE and painting pride rocks for pride, and like all of the things. Our Joseph Jet Pig does our stuff, and Elizabeth Mount said it like quadrupled their social media traffic.
Yep,
that's awesome.
In like a couple of weeks or something.
And Lori said they have Jet Piglet, so they add love right in there. They have the piglet.
Oh my God,
adorable.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm still on the fence about Jet Pig, to be quite fair, Chris, but they are adorable. And if they help us remember something like that will move us into the future, that's awesome.
Whatever
Honestly,
it takes.
I've been a minister for a while. I still can't name and number all the principles in order. Jet Pig might actually help me get through it, though. Like there are letters, and I can handle that, but there weren't letters or acronyms or anything handy with the principles. There just weren't. So, but yes.
Yep.
So, yes.
So next week,
Ray-Bans. Who has Ray-Bans on a Jet Pig?
I don't know. I've only seen them with aviator goggles.
Yeah.
They're super cute. Next week, beloved, we are going to be talking about the ways in which we can care for our trans and non-binary beloved, and people, families with trans and non-binary children in them. We are having 3 fabulous staff people from the UUA join us, and we're really looking forward to that conversation. So, and we'll see what the acronym has to be if we pass one of the amendments that adds a value to Article 2. I'm sure that people are preparing for peace to be in Jet Pig. Huh?
I can't handle any more letters.
Yes, you can.
But it's 12:59, and this has been a fun hour of potluck on the VUU.
Or 9:59 if you're in Seattle.
It's 12:59 in New York.
It has been really healing. Thank you.
It's 1:59 p.m. in Boring Ken, right?
It is. For just a few more days, we're an hour ahead of East Coast.
And don't forget, daylight savings happens in a bunch of places, but not
Why are
everywhere.
we still
Bunch
doing
of
that
Sunday.
on the last second? That's such horse shit.
Right?
Fucking bullshit. Okay.
That is a rule I no longer preach on Spring Forward Sunday.
So gross.
I don't know
Yeah.
how I signed up for this, but
Yeah, but your afternoon.
yeah, but
Hopefully people know by then.
by 8 p.m. I'm like ready to go to sleep on Spring
Yeah.
Forward Sunday.
Yeah,
That's a whole
true.
different show. Be well, beloved.
I know.
We'll see you next week.
Hello, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to those of you who give generously to this ministry. It is because of you that this ministry is possible. You can click the link in the description to give now, or visit clfuu.org/give for more information. We hope you will join us next week for another episode of The VUU.